No matter their age, many remember November 22nd, 1963.
I remember walking into our house and my mother being upset and the television being on, both things that didn't happen very often. So I knew that something different had happened.
They let us out of school. And I remember walking into my parents' house. My mom was in the corner of the living room watching the events unravel, and she had a handkerchief.
I was in the band room at the Shikellamy High School, sitting up on the top tier, facing the speaker from the intercom. And they just put it on. There was no preemptive or anything. They didn't tell us what was happening. They just put on the radio broadcast, and that's how we learned that the president had died.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Across the nation, people followed coverage of the assassination and funeral of 46-year-old President John F. Kennedy.
You know, Jackie Kennedy kept on her pink suit with blood splattered on it. Her one hand was glove was coated with blood. She said, I want them to see what they did to Jack. So, you know, it wasn't just watching on TV, but watching an unbelievable tragedy on TV. If you look at the news commentators during this time, some of them broke down when they talked about Kennedy passing. And, you know, of course, the funeral was, you know, sad but inspiring, the little John saluting, and it was just shocking. I don't know how else to say it.
Soon after Lee Harvey Oswald was taken into custody and subsequently gunned down following the assassination of JFK, several theories started to arise. John Scott was a self-proclaimed conspiracy enthusiast. However, Scott, who has a massive collection of JFK memorabilia, says he now has only one belief.
It's my personal opinion that it was Lee and Lee alone. Everybody has their own idea as far as who shot who or who was involved. All the evidence leads to Lee, especially if you see Lee's whereabouts the day before the murder, which leads me to believe it was Lee alone.
Along with conspiracies, many people have theorized what the political climate would have been if JFK had not been assassinated.
And it's hard to know. I mean, you know, people certainly are critical of LBJ for his getting us into Vietnam. Would Kennedy have done something different? I don't know. Maybe Kennedy had a better sense in times of crisis like that. If you think about what happened around the Cuban Missile Crisis and the way he handled that, might he have handled Vietnam differently? Who knows?
I think JFK would have had some struggles. And that's part of the problem why they said the assassination. They don't know whether he would have had another term because he had some problems there with the Bay of Pigs invasion. That was a big issue at that point. And some of the handling was some of his private affairs, but those never came out in the press like they do now.
There's evidence that Kennedy wanted to pull out of Vietnam, and of course Johnson escalated the war. So those things, you know, it's what if history.
And at the end, the word legacy is most always associated with the 35th president.
Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. I mean, that's a wonderful, you know, one-sentence synopsis of kind of the giving back to your country and a kind of patriotism and pride and being a part of a community that is that certainly has outlasted him.
Sarah Bartlett, WKOK.com.